Hey, friend, let's talk about something we all instinctively crave: ease. For most of our lives, we've been taught the mantra hustle harder. We're told if it's not agonizing, painful, exhausting, it must not be working. We celebrate the grind, the all nighters, the sheer force of will. But what if that constant pushing is actually slowing us down? What if the universe isn't a locked door needing brute force, but a river waiting for us to just jump in? That is where the effortless principle comes in. It's a subtle shift from swimming upstream against a raging current to realizing you can turn around and simply let the current carry you. This isn't about being lazy. No, it's about being smart. It's about leveraging the enormous unseen forces of the world instead of fighting them. Think about flow. Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi made it popular, but humans have felt it forever. Flow is that state where time vanishes, your self-consciousness disappears, and every action feels spontaneous, joyful, effortless. The painter, lost in brushstrokes, the athlete in the zone, the programmer, whose code just pours out. In flow, you perform at your highest level, yet it feels easy. That is the paradox. Peak performance through effortlessness. Now, contrast this with pushing. When you push, you're tense, fueled by anxiety, fear, the pressure to succeed. It's like forcing a square peg into a round hole. You know this feeling, right? Trying to remember a name, the harder you try, the further it slips away. And then bam, you relax, and there it is, right in your mind. Your mind, your life, the universe responds better to trust than frantic force. Here's a small, practical example. I used to be terrible at finding parking in busy city centers. I'd grip the wheel, white knuckle, pray, focus, stress. Usually I ended up blocks away. Then I tried the effortless principle. I would enter a busy area and just say, I trust a spot is waiting for me. I relaxed my grip, listened to the radio, looked at the buildings. I wasn't searching, I was allowing. And you know what? When you're relaxed, open, you notice the car pulling out. A block ahead, you see the small sign, the subtle cue you'd have missed in panic. The subtle shift is this: effort is required to start the action. Force prevents the result. Push the boat off the dock, yes, but once it's in the current, let the sails do the work. Set the intention, take the first step, and then trust the process. Stop seeing resistance as a reason to push harder. Start seeing it as a sign you might be aiming for the wrong tide. Takeaway: true power doesn't come from brute force, it comes from finding the angle of least resistance. Initiate with effort, then step back and allow the natural forces of the universe to carry you. Hey, friend, let's talk about syncing with the universe. But here's the twist: what we're really syncing with is ourselves, specifically, that quiet internal navigation system known as intuition. Our culture trains us to outsource certainty. We need data, spreadsheets, expert opinions, endless external affirmation before we make a move. We've been running on GPS for so long, we've forgotten how to read the stars. The subtle shift is granting your gut feeling that flash of insight, that soft knowing, the authority it deserves. Your intuition isn't mystical noise. No, it's the sum of every experience, every mistake, every lesson you've ever learned, synthesized instantly by your subconscious into a clear signal. It's your unique, personalized flow code. Usually, intuition shows up in two ways: the pull, that excitement that makes you say yes to an unlikely opportunity, even though it makes no logical sense; the hesitation, that sinking feeling in your stomach, warning you against a contract, a job, a relationship that looks perfect on paper but feels off. The problem is, we rationalize these feelings away. I can't start a business doing X, I don't have enough money, time, degrees. And the pull disappears. I shouldn't walk away from this job, it pays well, even though I hate the culture. And the hesitation is silenced. We let logic bully our inner wisdom into silence. To cultivate intuition, you need quiet space. You can't hear a whisper in a hurricane. This means less noise, fewer news feeds, less constant chatter, and just 5 minutes a day of silent attention. You don't need to meditate for an hour. Just sit with your coffee and ask a simple question. What is the next right step for me? Then, wait. Notice the very first answer, often illogical, floating to the surface. Here's a story. I was consulting for a large tech company. A major competitor approached me with a huge offer. Logically, it was a home run. More money, better title, easier commute. But the moment I saw the contract, I felt it. A deep, profound reluctance, a heavy stone in my chest. My mind screamed, "Take the money, idiot!" But my gut whispered, "Don't do it. The culture is toxic." I ignored the pull of logic and honored the hesitation of my gut. 2 months later, that competitor went through massive restructuring, laying off half their senior staff. By listening to that quiet warning, I stayed aligned with my path and avoided a huge disruption. The subtle shift is realizing logic is a tool for executing a decision. Intuition is the tool for making the aligned decision. Start small, trust your gut on what movie to watch or what route to take home. Every time you honor a small intuitive hit, you build confidence in that internal guidance system, allowing it to lead you toward bigger, more significant decisions that align you perfectly with your true universal flow. Takeaway: your intuition is your personal flow code. It's never wrong, only ignored. Create daily space for silence. Pay attention to the first pull or hesitation. Give your gut a vote. It holds the wisdom of your entire journey. Hey, friend, let's talk about timing. Have you ever noticed that sometimes you work incredibly hard on a goal? You push, you strain, you sacrifice, and nothing happens. Then months later, you casually mention an idea to a friend, and suddenly the right person calls, the perfect resource appears. Everything clicks effortlessly. That is the cosmic rhythm at work. Here's the thing: we tend to operate on a wristwatch timeline. Our goals must be achieved by Tuesday, 3 p.m. The universe operates on a much grander, more intelligent timeline. It's waiting for the soil to be fertile, the moon to be full, and for you to be truly ready for the thing you want. The subtle shift is releasing the need to control the when and embracing non attachment to the how. Patience is not passive waiting. No, patience is active alignment. It means taking all the preparatory steps, sharpening your skills, creating your offering, clearing out old baggage, but then stepping back and allowing timing to be managed by something wiser than your frantic, deadline driven self. Non attachment is often misunderstood. It doesn't mean you don't care about the outcome, it means you care about your peace more than the outcome. It means releasing the white knuckle grip on a specific result. For example, you want a new job. You apply, network, interview. Effort, non attachment is saying, "I have done my best work, and whether I get this job or an even better one, I am okay." Here's a story about timing. My friend Sarah was desperate to move to a specific coast city for a job. She applied hundreds of roles for a year and got nowhere. She became bitter, angry, felt the universe was blocking her. Then she finally gave up, decided to stay put, and simply invest in improving her current home. She put her attention, her energy, into the present moment. 3 weeks later, a tiny local company in her dream city, one she hadn't applied to because she thought it was too small, saw her updated LinkedIn profile, loved her work, and cold called her with an offer perfect. The job wasn't available when she was pushing. It appeared only when she was content where she was. The universe often keeps a desired outcome just out of reach until you learn the necessary lesson, usually a lesson in patience, self-worth, trust. Once you genuinely let go of a specific outcome and become content with the present, you create an energetic vacuum. You stop needing and start attracting. That is when the flow code kicks in, and timing suddenly aligns perfectly. Takeaway: stop forcing the door open, do your part, then place complete trust in the cosmic rhythm. Non attachment is the secret weapon. When you release your rigid timeline, the universe delivers on its perfect one. Hey, friend, let's talk about systems. We often imagine flow as some magical, mystical state that only strikes when inspiration hits. Sure, inspiration helps, but the truth is, the most consistent flow comes from excellent systems. The flow code isn't about ignoring reality, it's about structuring reality so that the path of least resistance leads directly to your most desired actions. Think of your life not as a race car needing a full tank of motivation, which inevitably runs out, but as a sophisticated machine with clean, well oiled components. When the components are clean, the engine purrs effortlessly. The subtle shift is moving from relying on motivation to relying on frictionless systems. Your environment can be your greatest ally or your greatest saboteur. Want to eat healthier? Finding the funnel means removing all junk food from the house, keeping a bowl of pre-washed visible fruit on the counter. Want to practice guitar? Finding the funnel means keeping the guitar on a stand in the middle of your living room, not locked away in a closet. The guitar is out, friction to start, almost zero. You pass it, you strum, 5 minutes of flow achieved. This applies to your mental state too. How do you find the funnel for creative work? Set up a pregame ritual that signals to your brain that it's time to enter flow. Make a specific cup of tea. Play certain instrumental music. Write 3 stream of consciousness pages in your journal before starting the actual work. This ritual acts as a funnel, directing scattered energy into a focused stream. Here's a practical example: the 2-minute rule, popularized by James Clear. If an action takes less than 2 minutes, do it immediately. This isn't a task management hack. It's a friction reducer. Dish in the dishwasher, less than 2 minutes. Take out the trash bag, replace it, less than 2 minutes. Do this consistently, and you prevent dozens of small irritating tasks from building up, draining your mental energy, and blocking flow on bigger projects. The overall feeling of being on top of things creates space for true creative work. The goal isn't to work harder. The goal is to make the right work inevitable. Design your home, your schedule, your rituals, so that the hardest part isn't doing the thing you want to do. Replace decision making, should I work out now, with automatic systemic action. I always put on my running shoes after my first cup of coffee. This preserves your finite willpower for the creative, challenging, flow-worthy work. Takeaway: stop relying on unreliable motivation. Design your environment, your rituals into a funnel that makes the desired action the easiest, most frictionless choice available. Hey, friend, let's talk about control. We are obsessed with it. We try to control people's opinions, the weather, the stock market, and definitely the outcome of every single project we start. We see control as power. But try this: tightly cup water in your hands. The harder you grip, the more slips through your fingers. This chapter is about embracing the paradox of control. The subtle shift is realizing that the moment you completely surrender your attachment to a specific outcome, you gain the most powerful form of control, control over your present experience. This is the core of syncing with the universe. You give up the illusion of power over the outside world to reclaim genuine power over your inner world. Surrender is not defeat. No, it is profound trust. It means saying, I have done everything in my power to prepare, and now I release this to the moment. It means accepting the present reality, whatever it is. Acceptance is the fastest path to peace, because resistance is what causes suffering. If you resist the traffic jam, you suffer. If you accept the traffic jam and use the time to listen to a podcast, the suffering vanishes. Here's a story. A friend of mine, an artist, had a breakthrough preparing for her first major exhibition. She spent months meticulously painting every piece. 2 weeks before the show, she realized one of her favorite paintings was conceptually weak. She panicked, frantically tried to fix it, made it worse. She was resisting the truth that she simply couldn't finish it perfectly in time. Finally, exhausted, she took a deep breath, removed the painting from the lineup, and decided, I surrender this piece. I trust the remaining collection is enough. The moment she let go, her stress evaporated. She used the extra time, not to panic, but to beautifully frame and light the existing work. The exhibition was a huge success, and nobody missed the painting she pulled. The universe responds to your internal state. When you're tense, resistant, controlling, you create a ripple of friction. When you're relaxed, accepting, trusting, you create a ripple of flow. Here's the practical shift. Ask yourself, whenever stress rises, is this in my sphere of influence? If yes, e.g., I need to file my taxes, then take intentional action. Effort, system. If no, e.g., will the client like my proposal? Then practice surrender. Hand that worry over to the universe and bring focus back to the only thing you can ever truly control, your breath, your current action. By controlling the internal, you find alignment with the external. Takeaway: true power lies not in controlling the outcome, but in accepting the moment. Surrender your need to manage external variables and watch your internal peace, your true power, return. Hey, friend, let's talk about resonance. If you've ever tuned a radio, you know to hear a station clearly, you have to match your receiver's frequency to the broadcast frequency. The same principle at a subtle, energetic level governs the flow code. The universe is constantly broadcasting opportunities. But if your internal frequency is tuned to worry, cynicism, or lack, you won't hear the good news. The final subtle shift is moving from scarcity, anxiety, to resonance and positive expectation. This is where you learn to use your inner state to actively draw the people, circumstances, insights that keep you in flow. Resonance is about energy. Everything in the universe is energy, like frequencies attract. When you feel genuinely grateful, excited, open, even before the thing you want has arrived, you are emitting a frequency that matches the opportunities you seek. Conversely, if you're constantly complaining, focused on debt, worried about what you don't have, you resonate with more things to worry about. This isn't about fake positivity. It's about choosing your dominant emotional state with awareness. Here's the practical shift. When a scarcity thought creeps in, e.g., I don't have enough time, money, don't fight it. Gently pivot to a resonant thought. I am grateful for the abundance I do have. I trust the right resources will appear when I need them. I know a writer who struggled for years. Every morning he'd start his day by checking his bank account and feeling panic. He was resonating with lack. His subtle shift was creating a 5-minute expectation window, first thing in the morning. Before checking his phone, he'd sit, close his eyes, and visualize 3 things he truly expected to happen that day: a helpful conversation, a great idea for a scene, an unexpected small gift. He didn't ask, he simply expected. Within weeks, his outlook fundamentally changed. He started seeing opportunities he had previously missed because his mind was primed to look for the good, not the lack. The good came because he was tuned into that frequency. The flow code relies on this. When you operate from sufficiency, the universe treats you as sufficient. When you operate from joy, the universe gives you more reasons to be joyful. Your inner landscape is the steering wheel. Syncing with the universe means making sure your inner vibration matches the outward expression of the life you want to live. Be the frequency of the life you want to attract. Takeaway: opportunities don't appear in chaos, they appear in resonance. Choose to tune your inner frequency to positive expectation and gratitude every morning, and watch how effortlessly the universe begins to deliver what you match. If you like, I can now combine chapters 1-6 into